In the mountains of northern Iraq, these are the survivors of what the UN has called attempted genocide. They're members of the Yazidi faith, and they now live on this hillside in the mud. Looking at them now, it's hard to believe that they fled here during the heat of last summer, when untold numbers died as Islamic State fighters advanced into Iraq from Syria. This is the story of those Yazidis who did not escape. The thousands of women and girls abducted, imprisoned, and sold into sexual slavery. It was in August last year that around 300,000 Yazidis fled from their ancient homeland in the Sinjar region of Iraq. Some took refuge high up on Sinjar mountain, where we filmed Iraqi helicopters trying to rescue as many as they could. Yazidis crushing one another in an awful stampede to escape. Islamic State fighters regard Yazidis as heretics, worse than Christians or Jews, and stories quickly emerged of hundreds of men being executed and thousands of women sold into slavery. Now living in a refugee camp in Iraq's Kurdish north, these women are from the farming village of Kucho, where invading jihadists forced hundreds of them to convert to Islam before auctioning them off as slaves. They won't talk here, but they've agreed to meet us in a house where it feels safe. Yazidi faith forbids them from having sex before marriage, yet some of them have been made pregnant by the IS fighters who bought them. Hakima is 19 and had just left school when she and the others were captured in Kucho and held prisoner for 3 appalling months.
داعش همو کرنا مدرسه ده و زيرو حق و موبايل و هموش ما برن و مير جدا کرن و کاچ کوشن جدا کرن و زارو جدا کرن مير برن کشتن گالک جی و کاچ کوشن جی برن کاچ کوشن جیک جدا کرن کاچ کوشن جیک جدا کرن و كاتشك برنا سوري وعم تفرودنا يكودو وليدان المادان تشتي بيكي في ماب مات كرن داري زوري بو جبر مات كرن ما قالك تعبدي.
Far from hiding their crimes, this IS video shows fighters boasting about them. Men from Iraq and the Gulf bragging about buying Yazidi women. What do you want? Today is market day. Distribution is today, says this man. It all seems like a joke. One says the price goes up if women have blue eyes. Can he take 2 Yazidi women at once? This man asks. The militants also filmed this mass conversion of Yazidi men they'd captured, no doubt at gunpoint. You can see the fear on their faces. They're coming to Islam in droves, the video says, before interviewing new arrivals. We were in the dark, says this prisoner, but now we see the light. Hakima was one of a group of 130 women forced to convert, and she says the shame of abandoning her 7,000-year-old religion horrified her more than being sold.
ما مرنا خوش خودید خواست مد گوتان ما بکشن مصلحت وان کرنا سری خوام ند کشتن ما مرنا خوش پیش جاوید وان دی ممرنا خوش خودت خواست وقتیم کدینه دستی و اندم ند کشتن.
She's identified this man as the jihadist who bought her. His name is Khalid Sharoof. He's from Sydney in Australia, where he has a criminal record for terrorist offences. He's now believed to be living in Raqqa in Syria with his wife and children, where he kept 7 Yazidis, trading them as sex slaves among his men.
ما مالوان باقشتر و خوارناوان چیت کرد بس چوبا حربی چه هاد باوی ما بلاکجی قدکه هرکش ما دایکی ما زوجین نبخیرم بس ما خو خلاص وان جنکی یک دابوما وجا شکش ما نات کرن گالکی ما آمن بو جان کم باس نادن میرگ نیل مال بو چوبا شر چار شیوان نهاد چوبا دیر زور
These women fear being ostracized from their community for speaking out. But the crime against their people is so monstrous that they want the world to know it. Jalila, aged 30, was also captured in Kucho, taken to Syria and ordered to look after the youngest girls.
Kakachkena helaba chabalna helaba chitaki pika rad be dasari duanchkenan dasti duanchkenan disane wakabarel mavadgeran tanina qa'a madamat birna mustashfi mad عالجاندن ياكي ديتات او شخورت كري هاج لجنام چونم في بايفيت بشنه فهمو حقيقته ومبجافي قد كاچكا 7 سالي و 8 سالي 30 سالي 40 سالي شخورت بر گونما گو خدانت خوش گو خوابا ویژن گو داکو بابت خوش گو خوابا ویژن گو بیجن بیمالا خدیا و الحمدلله خدیا گو هون المدر کتن گو می و زوجین گو می مالا جواره چکن گو می و براتب کن گو هون بعيشه کی قنج عايشن يعني گو نهون حياتك خوا خوش بورين ما گو پشتی خدانت خوا ما گو ما تشتاق نافي غير مرنه و خدانت خوا گو نا گو خدانت خوش گو خوابا ویژن گو ام خدانت وینه.
The northern Iraqi village of Lalish is holy to Yazidis, and it's where some of the women have sought sanctuary. They say others, still in captivity, have committed suicide. An orphanage is being built for Yazidi children who've lost all their relatives. But tolerance has its limits, and those children still to be born, the babies of women raped by Islamic State fighters, will not be made welcome here.
أو زاروات تشتي بيت الخاستخانة أو تسميلي حكومتي بت وبيجا حكومة كابجا تشاوا بكت أو إن بروبليما مايا حكومتي تشلوي زاروي بكت لي أم وكو كشتن أوي زاروج أم تشنابا بونا كشتن ديني مادا تشنابا لي أو دياوي كركي أو كاتشكا أو جنا وإتا فقريتا مالاخو وزوجت وكوبري ومقوتيا خلقيا جي خورتت مايد إزديا هر کسی که واجی بداد ببد کشکا که جوان دستوان جی ورسین امی پیشکشی دینی امی خلال بکنی.
But how can life ever be the same? Amsha Pajo is 32 and has just arrived in a refugee camp. It is the first time she has seen her relatives who had given her up for dead. For 6 months, she was missing as an Islamic State slave in Syria. Until one owner took pity on her and her 5 children and let them go. Though Amsha's husband was one of around 400 men shot by the jihadists in Kucho village.
خلافا من خودي ما أنا خودي هزار جاري أباب خلاص بون ولا ما قالك زعمادي ما رزيلي دي ما يخسيري دي ما حبسي دي ما تهريب دي ما همتشتي خودي تشتاقني نسكا خين عزب زلامي وخد فاكرة عمري ويسي سال بو عمال بو أما مرزيلي وخاي كرير أفشا سالبون الشغلي مالك أخو شكر بو كامل نكر وبيش أنا بو.
However bleak it is here, these women say there is no going back to Kucho. They blame neighbouring Arab villages for colluding in their capture, and their families have been scattered to the four winds or killed.
ونام داك خدي نام خوش كبرايت خدي تنام عائلة ما أمس عائلة ما صد زلام هابو يعني شار شمال ما همو شار شباب شي فلتنا وجي همو بريندارن همو مفاينا زب أبتنما يعني بينجي جنو كاتل مالن ماذا هاي غير إنسانة كدينين.
بالك كيف عن هاتك أزديتم قالك وكيف عم جي هاتك عم وديتن والصبحش قجيبهم واس كيف عم هاتجي وسعيج جيبهم قالك عم قالك جي ناديتن سعيج اسم كم ناديتن داك خوا بابي خوا زارويت مات كتشيك جن برايت خوا برايت خوا بيستود زلامش مالا ماش هايلي بابي من نات خواياين تشتاقي جي نزان قالك يدعيج اسم هاتان روجاي روجن تشتاقي جي نزان نات تلفونك نات تشتاق نزان نات كشتينا نات هشتينا تشتاقي جي نزان.
The stigma of what has happened to these women is so great that many cannot talk of it openly. Yet these Yazidi women have, because untold thousands are still trapped. And if those who've escaped don't bear witness to sexual slavery and attempted genocide, then nobody else will.